I mean, I'm a buff. You know, I still like fire trucks and like fires. It's just time for me to change of life. I'm Tim Byrnes. I've been a captain with the Overland Park Fire Department for 16 years. I started volunteering in 1982, so I have a total of 40 years with the Overland Park Fire Department. I kind of grew up here. My father started as a volunteer in 1966. I have two children, Brenton and Shelby. Shelby will be 30 next year, Brenton will be 32 this year. I have a dog, Harley. He's my lake dog. He loves going down the lake with me. My family has a large background of helping people. My mom, she was actually the director of a geriatric facility in Overland Park. My dad, of course, was a volunteer firefighter. I've got nurses, doctors, police officers on our family, so we have deep roots to public safety and helping others. I volunteer here, I got unpaid. I started at Station 2 in '87. Captain Raleigh Brooker was my first captain. And went through a few lieutenants, and the last one I had at Station 2 was Ed Morrison. I served a lot of great people. Actually, my first partner, Richard Stump, I don't know if people know it, but my last name is really Byrnes. He dubbed my name as Byrnes. I mean, I still have people today ask me, is your name Byrnes or Byrnes? So that tradition carried for 35 years. That was kind of funny. I had 4 fire chiefs, Chief Dieners, the 4th. So I've experienced a lot of upper leadership and a lot of ideas, a lot of people. Numerous battalion chiefs, numerous captains. I had some great captains coming through the ranks and great battalion chiefs. Learned a lot. This was kind of what I learned to drive on, was this one behind me here. You can tell there's no doors, there's no enclosure. It got really cold and really hot. There used to be boards behind, in front of them, because the aluminum body, it bounced the heat off and it'd be a nice furnace back there. It was nice in the winter, but it was horrible in the summer. We used to do our own equipment. We used to fix our own equipment. I was speaking with Scott Casey at the awards banquet. We had an old Quint, I think it was the second Quint the city owned, or actually Overland Park Inc. owned at the time. It had a broken valve in it, and we did the maintenance. So Scott, being a little slender than I am, he crawled inside and he was fixing the valve and I was handing him parts. And it took us a couple of days, but we got the truck back into service and we did our own maintenance on it. You know, we had captains that liked to go out at night because the city looks completely different at night. And when you're driving around and just doing streets and driving around, we did a lot of that. We had Type 2 ambulance services here. We used to run tandem with MEDAC in transporting units. It was fun. I mean, I met a lot of people and had an opportunity to meet some great doctors, nurses, other paramedics. Some I still keep in touch with today. A little bit of a chuckle. How far we've come. Back in 1987, 88, myself and Richard Stump, my original partner, we ran the most calls out of Station 2 for an ambulance, a transporting unit. 13 calls. It's grown since then. We've run quite a few calls. During my career here, I had the opportunity to do a lot of things. Been in the National Fire Academy twice. Fire investigator for 16 years. Investigated a lot of fires. I saw a lot, met a lot of people. Did some work with the Arson Task Force, Northeast Kansas Arson Task Force. Went to quite a few conferences around the state with the president of the Firefighters Relief Association for about 20 years. Let's see, I've been deployed 3 times. I went to Hurricane Katrina in Mississippi in 2005. I went to Coffeyville for the floods they had with the hazmat team. And then we got deployed to Hutchinson when they had the big fires a couple years ago and the grass fires, brush fires out there. I've had some pretty impressive fire investigations. Greenbrier, there's a picture that floated around for quite a while where it was looking down a driveway and you saw the flames coming across the street. That was one of my shots I acquired of that fire, so it was a good photography shot, photo shot. But I had my end done that night, and I came back and met him the next day, and his name was Dan Anderson, and he goes, "It started a car." He goes, "Where'd you have it started?" It was the same car you're talking about. Probably the most exciting moment I had, and very proud of, was City Place. I mean, I went back to my schoolwork in my mind that I learned from a gentleman named Bill Benjamin back at JUCO, back in the real early 80s, of how to fight fires in Overland Park. That was his biggest statement, was we're going to have a conflagration in Overland Park, and you're not going to stop it until it gets to the state line. Well, we proved you wrong. We stopped in the neighborhood. I would have the East Division, and Chief Relisheimer was the sector division for that side of the fire. And we worked together, and a lot of stuff happened face to face because the radios were so busy. You know, a lot of I thought, can you do this? Yes. Safely? Yes. Take care of it. Done. I got to experience a lot of things, both as acting battalion chief. I got to serve on the interview boards for the new hires, and it's very impressive to see the ones we hired 5, 6 years ago or longer, and now they're officers in our department. And as captains, you can see people that are under your command and people that you've worked with and people I interviewed to get hired here to come through that process, and just seeing how much they've grown. You get an insight of what their officers are like, their traits that they learn, where they're at in the city, how much our city's grown. So you see quite a few things that it's really something special to see. My brother, I do have a brother. He is older than me. Back right in between Christmas and New Year's, he was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. I meant to metastasize a little bit. You look at Brian Speeney, 55. Chief Wilson, 65. A volunteer and used to be a Johnson County paramedic. Chris Warner, age 70. Those are 4 people I work with, here or others. And then one day you start looking at the calendars and you start looking at your numbers and everything, and I've been here 40 years. That's a long time to be somewhere for 40 years. You know, I'm healthy. I've had I only have 1 doctor's appointment left to do and other things. So everything has been passed through the medical world, dental world, vision world, everything's great. So it just seemed like a good time to retire. I'm healthy, I'm happy. I'm gonna miss the people. The shift work is, every shift is a completely different family. You know, in an apartment in Overland Park, we are a family. Being in the Benevolent Association, you can make a phone call to a shift and you can get anything you want taken care of. The camaraderie is what you're gonna miss. My shift test, you know, going forward, you know, what's your advice for us? You know, we're getting bigger. The fires are more complex. Watch out for each other. Just watch each other's back. Take care of each other. I wanted to work for the best department in the county, in my eyes, and the things I've experienced from being able to do the Relief Association and the arson investigations, and to see that it holds true today. Overland Park is the best place to be.